All right, today is going to be a very interesting topic. Today, I want to talk about patience. And I know many of you might be like me. You have the patience of a gnat. And that's pretty much how I would describe my patience level, right? I want what I want and I want it right freaking now. So for years you've heard patience is a virtue. If you're virtuous, you are patient. And let's just say, like, when you hear that, you're like, that just sucks. Like, you don't want to hear that. You want, like I said, you want what you want and when you want it. And, but the one thing I have learned is that over the last few years, I have learned a little bit more about patience. And I had to learn to be patient more so with my body, right? Years ago, I could, clean up my diet a little bit, up my workout, and the result just came out. Now you hit your 40s and your body's like, "Oh, girlfriend, I ain't gonna do what you want me to do. I'm gonna need a little more time." It's like a stubborn 2-year-old. And that is how I had to find patience. About 5 years ago, I put on about 30 pounds and I was like, how the heck am I going to get this off? And, I started working out, started cleaning up my diet. And, eventually I found out that there was way more to it than my diet and my exercise. And for those of you guys who feel like you're in that same bucket, let's have a conversation, because I don't want you to automatically jump to, it's just how it's supposed to be, or, oh, I have to invest in yet another doctor. Before you go that route, let's have a conversation. Let's talk about patience first, okay? So I had to learn to be patient. Right? I had to decide what motivated me, right? If I wanted to get healthier and fitter, I had to decide what motivated me. Was it the fact that I wanted to lose 30 pounds in 30 days? Or was it the fact that I wanted to get healthy for life? Let that sink in. If you are looking for this quick, hit it and quit it kind of thing, you're going to be hitting and quitting it for the rest of your life and being frustrated, as insert a dirty word, all the day long. I also had to ask myself, where am I willing to step out of my comfort zone, right? So many of you have been following the same blueprint for decades. And in order for you to get different results, you got to do different things, right? We got to mix it up. And I'm not asking you to mix it up like radically. I'm just saying, if you've been following the same, I eat 6 meals a day, I have chicken, broccoli, brown rice, I have oatmeal, like, oh, come on. Aren't you bored? I'm bored right now. So I want you to really think about, I need to change something. I need to mix something up, because if I'm putting in the same inputs, the same outputs, and expecting different results, you're insane. That's a clinical definition. All right. And I don't say this to shame anybody. I don't say anything to berate anyone. I say this because I was the same person and I had to get out of my own way. So I'm inviting you to get out of your own damn way. Okay. So today it's, how do you have some of the tools to learn the patience? Because like I said, I am not patient. And I would never define myself as a patient person now, but I found that in certain places in my life, I had to insert patience. All right. And so that's what we're going to talk about. So let me define it. Okay. I pulled out the dictionary, and the dictionary says bearing trials calmly without complaint. And so I'm going to give you the Kim definition, because I was like, huh? The Kim definition is, it's about tolerating where you are to get to where you want to be. So when I put on those 30 pounds and I was told I needed to have patience for it to come off, that was me. I had to tolerate what was happening right now in order to get to the other side. And many of you don't want to tolerate that. We have to sit in that discomfort, and that discomfort feels like sitting in a wet bathing suit with sand in your tush, right? We've all had that, and that sucks. So I want you to really think about, how do you break up with what the Amazon Prime life? I order something on Monday and by Friday it's here. And if it's not here by Friday, I'm pissed. So I want you to think about, like, we have to kind of step aside from that instant gratification that I'm going to look in the mirror and bada boom, bada bang, I'm going to get what I want. Because I'm going to tell you, it doesn't happen that way. And the more I'm able to change my mindset from that, the happier I got and the less frustrated I got from not seeing results day in and day out, week in and week out. So when they say patience is a virtue, it's like it is to how I define it is to take away the immediacy of gratification. It's not like I said, it's not going to happen overnight. We need to have some type of a plan, some type of a process, because if I'm hopping from one thing to the next thing to the next thing, how do I know if it's not working? And I think actually I know that's what happens to a lot of people, right? Our patience level runs out, or our comfort level gets uncomfortable, and then it's time to do something different. So I have a client, and she likes chocolate, loves it, loves her chocolate. And, she was having those little, those Lindt chocolate bars, like those little Lindt chocolates, have them every day, every day, every day, every day. And she's like, Kim, like, seriously, I'm not seeing any results. And I was like, all right, like, I haven't wanted to pull those chocolates because I know that keeps you sane. And I don't want to pull those chocolates because I know they keep you sane. So if you're looking for results and you keep eating these chocolate bars, help me understand where the results are going to come from. And she was like, okay. And I said, how about we start with counting how many you're having a day. And then once you know how many you're having a day, start with having one less. Just one. So if you're having 10 a day, let's start with having 9. But I also wanted her to track, when was she reaching for the chocolate, right? Was there some type of a trigger that was a time? Was it, a person? Was it a project? Like, what was it that, had her reaching for the chocolate? And so I said to her, like, your progress is going to happen slower because we're keeping in the chocolate. And so I want you to think about that, and now here on the other side, I don't want you to think I'm going to get rid of everything and my progress is going to happen over frickin' night. No. What I'm saying is that you have to bust through that comfort zone. Her chocolate was her comfort zone, right? Another example is I have a client that she loves vacation. Me too. Get in line. I'm all about that flip-flop life. And when she's at home, she is, as strict as a Marine when it comes to her eating and her working out. When she's on vacation, it's a party. It's like Mardi Gras when she's on vacation. Caution is thrown to the wind. And she would always come home and she'd be like, oh, Kim, I'm up 10 pounds. Oh my God. And I said to her, you have to change, right? And her discomfort was that I said, you need to make a plan for your vacation, not, be this strict militant person. It's like, we worked together to help her figure out the flow so that she wasn't this like militaristic person at home. And also she wasn't this like, Mardi Gras having person when she was on vacation. And so her comfort zone was when she was at home. And when she was away, she felt that she didn't have any, she could abandon the rules, right? So those were the rules and comforts that she had in her head. The one thing also about patience is that it helps us to form stronger relationships with ourselves, right? It helps us to realize, like, where are our Achilles heels? Where are the pitfalls that we always seem to fall victim to? A patience also helps us tolerate others, because if we're trying to get over our own stuff, we can start to see and appreciate other people, trying to get over their own stuff and being in that same boat. And, also it lowers our stress. If we're always, stop constantly worrying about where I should be and where I want to be and where I'm not, that takes a toll on our mental energy. And it helps us to become a little bit more resistant so that when, stuff happens, it's a life. Setbacks happen. Now's the time where we're like, okay, setbacks happen. Now I'm going to regroup. Now I'm going to figure out where am I going to go? Where did I fall down in my strategy? And please know this, patience takes practice. It's not one of these things that you're like, oh, I listened to this podcast today and now I have patience. No, you're going to trip, you're going to fall. Please be a beginner, right? Beginners. Like I still, when I first started this whole patience process, I still would look in the mirror and be like, I did all the things. Like, come on, give me something. And my body was like, that's when your body like is a toddler who like throws himself down on the ground and just like, I'm not doing what you want. You can't make me. So there's a difference between having patience and taking action. And I don't want you to think that patience is like sitting around and just like, meditating and like waiting for like the powers to be to like, sprinkle some fairy dust on you. You have to take the action. Now, when I say that you have to take the action, it's like I'm moving in the direction of what my goals are without the expectation that I want you to think about it. It's like a chess game, right? In chess, you don't automatically like move your different chess pieces and all of a sudden it's checkmate. There's strategery, like you move from, one piece to the next piece, working to draw your opponent into checkmate. It's not like you start the game and checkmate. It doesn't work that way. So I want you to really think about like it's chess. Like, you move, I move, you move, I move. And so the reason why you have patience is when you really want something, right? If you know that you really want those 30 pounds to come off, you're like, okay, I'll do whatever it takes. And I hear that all the time. And that means I will do whatever it takes, meaning I will sit in the discomfort, meaning I will plan my food on my vacation, meaning I will start to slowly get rid of the chocolate, right? That's what patience is, right? The patience is having the patience to change your behaviors in order to get what you want. And when you really want something so bad that you can taste it, you are more likely to do it. And, when you're feeling stress about it, that's a big indicator that it's time for you to move your feet. It's an indicator that it's time for you to take action. And, patience is patience is like at the forefront of what I say, you got to form those habits, because it is the habits that gives us the process, and it's our process that gives us the patience. And most people only focus on the progress. And when you focus just on the progress, your patience goes right at the window, because like I said, Amazon Prime, if it's not here in 2 days, you're pissed, and there's no customer service to call when it's about your health. Right? Are you going to call your doctor and be like, I took penicillin for 2 days and I still have this rash? Like, your doctor's going to be like, dude, I told you 10 days, and then call me and take it every dose. Right? So I want you to really start to think about what is the process that you are following. Because with patience, it's not about inaction. It's not about saying this is what I want and not doing anything. You have to you got to put your feet in motion. So how I put my feet in motion is that I decide, what is it that I want, right? It's, I want to lose these 30 pounds. Boom. Okay. That's my decision. Now my choice is, how am I going to go about doing that? Right? I make the choice of what is the process that I'm going to find. Then I connect to, why do I want it? Right? I talked about when you want something so bad, you're willing to do whatever it takes. And for me, I was like, I had my connection, right? I knew that I'm a health and fitness professional. I want to stand in front of people and it looks like I follow the program, that I practice what I preach. then you got to get creative, right? I can't sit back and say, I'm going to have 6 meals a day. It's going to be chicken, broccoli, brown rice. It's going to be oatmeal. Like, I need to do something that breaks free from my normal. And I got to get creative, right? I have to think outside of the box and break free of my comfort zone, be okay that I'm going to sit there for a little bit in that wet bathing suit with some sand in the bottom. And then finally, I know that when I get through on the other side of that sandy bottom, there's going to be consistency, because that's where I'm going to get my long-term results. And patience is what's driving me there. Patience is driving me to that consistency point, so that I know that this is what is going to be my lifestyle. And lastly, it's not about perfection, because I feel that it's the perfection that keeps a lot of people stuck. Is that you tried something and it didn't go perfectly. Okay, you just learned what's not working for you. And anyone listening here, you all know that the health and fitness field is riddled with so many different diets, processes, programs, meal plans, whatever you want to call them, that sometimes you are kissing a few frogs. But I think about it like this, back in the day, remember, we used to listen to radio, and you had a dial, and sometimes we had to the radio station would get a little bit out of frequency. And so we would have to turn the dial a little left or turn the dial a little right to get it back on track. And that's what a good coach does. A good coach is that person who helps you with the dial. Because if you are stuck on 92.5 and you're just a little out of frequency, a good coach comes in and says, oh, hey girl, move yourself 2 steps to the left and you're going to be back on track. Where for us, we're like, we can't get out of our own way sometimes. And I know for me, I can't get out of my own way. And it's nice for someone to like have their head over your shoulder and like, be like, oh, did you know you were doing this? And be like, no, I didn't know I was doing that. And you're like, yeah, why am I doing that? And so it's able to have that sounding board, able to have that back and forth conversation, because this is what I know. You have the power. Say that again. You have the power. You are not powerless when it comes to food. You are not powerless when it comes to changing your nutrition. You're not powerless when it comes to losing weight. What you are is a process. You are missing a process. And if you are not following a process, how do you know that you're failing, right? What is that measuring stick? Because one of the things I always challenge my clients is that we need a measuring stick, and that measuring stick doesn't change for 30 days. And then we look and evaluate at the 30-day marker. Then we move up and look and evaluate at the 60-day marker, so that we can see what's happening. Because like I said, change takes time. It takes patience. And, we need to be able to see where you're breaking down. And when I start working with clients, I see a lot of this, and I also see it all over the socials. People are majoring in what I call the minors. And so what the minors are is that, what should I eat pre and post workout? Well, if you're not eating right, who cares, right? I want you to focus on what's going to be your big dial movers. Like, what are going to be your big building blocks? So it's like, it's sleep, it's water, it's stress, protein, and movement, right? Those are the big needle movers for me. And then we can talk about pre-meal, but macros, pre-workout, post-workout. We could talk about all those things. We could talk about supplements, but if I'm not getting in those big 5 pieces, let's get the foundation. I talk about this a lot with my clients. If you're building a house, you don't talk about all the trips to Restoration Hardware and Pottery Barn, right? We talk about the non-sexy stuff. Let's talk about the cement that we're going to put in the foundation. Let's talk about is it 2x4s that we're going to put up for, the framing, right? we're skipping all the way ahead to like talking about throw pillows. We need to make sure that we build this nice, strong foundation. Because when I have a nice, strong foundation, you can't stop me. I'm unstoppable. And that comes from patience, right? Because what I just talked about isn't sexy, right? It's not what you see all over the socials. There's not going to be an infomercial about sleep. There's not going to be an infomercial about stress. There's going to be an infomercial about, hey, take this magic potion and all your problems will go away. No. Let's start with the basics. And I know I'm a pain in the rump shaker when it comes to this. But I know when you nail the basics and you have the patience to nail the basics, everything else becomes gravy, my loves, becomes gravy. And so one of the reasons why we do this is that we feel like we're always in a rush. And again, I go back, Amazon Prime, right? We're so caught up in if it doesn't happen in 2.2 seconds, then I do it. I can't have it. So I want you to start to think about what it is you want. Decide, get so clear about what you want that anyone who knows you knows exactly what your goal is. The other thing is, let's start to break up with our to-do list, right? Let's start to make our to-do list less taxing. Make our to-do list something that is doable, right? I challenge my clients, again, if you put 50 things on your to-do list, you're gonna stress out when you only get 2 done. But if I put 3 things on my to-do list and I know I could get them done, boom, automatically I feel like a winner. And I always want you to feel like a winner. Like feeling like crap feels like crap. And who likes feeling like crap? Who raise your hand if you like feeling like crap? I want you to feel like a winner. So let's start doing things that will start making us feel like a winner and start making time for ourselves. And so that's, setting yourself on your calendar, right? My workouts happen first thing in the morning because I know me. I know if I don't get up, get a cup of coffee and go for my workout, I can come up with 500 other things to do. So know you. Do you have, are you someone who's a lunchtime workout? Are you someone who's a nighttime workout? Put it in your calendar and make you a priority. Make you something that you can't blow off. And this is how, we start changing our attitudes around how fast our progress is happening, how fast we're getting the results. Because when I start taking these little steps towards it, I start to be able to feel better about myself. And I start to feel like, I think I can do this, right? And so I start to, my shoulders get erect a little bit more and I stand a little taller. I got a bigger smile on my face and there's a little bit more of a pep in my step. And, break up with the negative talk, right? It's just as easy to believe something negative about yourself as it is to believe something positive about yourself. And I get this all the time. I know, like I have those days when I, have those negative conversations with myself, but I have to snap out of it. And I challenge you to snap out of it too. And just say, you know what? It's just not happening today. Yes, I want to, step on that scale and it be 5 pounds, down 5 pounds. Or I want to look in the mirror and, I have 6-pack abs. Whatever it is that you are dreaming of having, just say, yet. My 6-pack isn't here yet. The 5 pounds isn't here yet. And it just makes it more tolerable for yourself because patience is a choice. I can choose to be frustrated as dirty word, or I could choose to decide what I want, be crystal clear about it, make the necessary changes that I want, connect it to my soul, right? The connection is your motivation. It's what gets your tush out of bed. I live in New England. So in November at 5 a.m., it's cold, it's dark. My connection is what gets my tush out of bed. I need to have the courage to break free of perfection, break free of what I've been doing over and over and over again. And I know that I can drive straight to consistency. All right. So that's patience. It's more than that definition that I gave you at the beginning of the show. It's you living in the uncomfortable space. It's you pushing through that uncomfort. There's a I don't know if it's not a meme, but there's a cartoon. That's what it is. It's a cartoon. And there's a guy and he's like in a tunnel and he's got a pickaxe and he's digging in a tunnel, and you see he stops, and just on the other side of him he's probably like 2 or 3 picks away from breaking through to the other side. And that's what so many people are. And it frustrates me when I see women, they're like 2 or 3 steps from the pickaxe, or they're standing in front of the cave and they just don't want to go into the cave because they're afraid of what might happen. Right? What might happen if I eat differently? What might happen if I got more sleep? What might happen if I wasn't a stress ball? What might happen? Well, you don't know till you know. And what might happen is you might get everything you've been talking about you want. So I could be about it, or I could talk about it. And I'm hoping that you choose to be about it. All right. So that's all I got for you this fine day. If you know someone who is struggling with patience and trying to figure out their process, do me a favor, screenshot this, tag them, and make sure that they listen to it. All right. That is it, my dears, my magic makers. You are amazing to me. Have a fantabulous day.